there everyone, this is Jordan Ray again with another video, this time a little bit different. Usually I'm talking about Google Apps Script and creating things with Apps Script for the classroom, but today I thought it would be interesting to show how to set up a development environment for larger projects, for maybe if you're developing a Chrome extension. And here I'm looking at the developer's guide for that, or even Office 365 add-ins. You need to set up a development environment for that too. I don't think I'm allowed to speak about Office 365 too much, or I'll lose my Google badges. I think they take them all away and they erase me from all the records. But if you need, or if you want to get started developing these kinds of things, there's some tools that you need, and we're going to go through that first. The very first one is Git. Git is a version controlling set of software, and it's what allows you to push things up to GitHub. I've got a video about GitHub and code sharing, but to code on a local in a local development environment and then push to GitHub, you need Git. So that's the first thing you want to install, and it's pretty simple. And with Windows, it's super simple, and Linux and Mac are also super simple. Right now, I'm on a Windows computer because I don't really have a development environment set up here, so I can kind of start from scratch. So Git is the very first thing. Install it. Next, we're going to talk about Visual Studio Code. This is just a text editor, but it's like a text editor on steroids, really. Like it's not regular Notepad, but it does. Really, Notepad will do the same exact things, but this takes it to another level. It allows you to install a ton of extensions and to really customize what your text editor looks like. Other options for a text editor would be Sublime Text and Atom Code. Atom is another free open source project, and this is actually developed or kind of maintained by GitHub themselves. And Sublime Text there's a free trial version of it, but I think you've got to pay for a license after a certain amount of time. Sublime Text, everyone has their own specific preferences. I used to use Atom all the time, and then I've been trying VS Code, and I'm really enjoying it. All right, next up is Node.js. Node.js is going to be our engine, what really powers the development environment. Git and VS Code are like tools that will help us to operate it. Node.js is like the engine, and it's built on top of the JavaScript engine that Chrome uses. Chrome browser uses the same JavaScript engine. And you've got two options here. You can get like the bleeding edge features and the current with all with all the cool new stuff from ES 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 30, whatever, however many future versions of JavaScript there are going to be. But I'm just going to go ahead with the recommended for most users. And that will take a few minutes to download. Okay, now that Node finished installing, we can go ahead and open up command line and kind of get started playing around with this. I use, with Git, there's a bash prompt that comes with it, and we're going to go ahead and just use this because it allows you to use some of the Linux commands that are a little bit easier. So I'm going to make a directory and just call it testbed, and then change directory into the testbed, Now, the powerful part about Node is that it comes with a package manager called npm. And so I'm going to install a few things with this. And I'm going to add this G operators, so they're global installs. Because what we want to do is actually install a tool called Yeoman. Because Yeoman is it's a scaffolding tool, and it allows us to generate kind of the boilerplate stuff for projects. So in one of my other videos, I talk about boilerplate stuff on GitHub, but Yeoman is like a command line version of that. So I'm going to install Yo, gulp CLI, and not blower, but Bower. This still relies on Bower as backend. Bower, I think, is going away. Bower is another package manager. Okay, so the Chrome extension is done. Now I'm going to npm install generator office. Now I can use either of those generators to actually scaffold out projects. We'll start with a Chrome extension, and I'll go back to the documentation for that. And it was here. So we can type in yo Chrome extension. It's just whatever the generator was without generator on the front. So whatever the and now you'll see we'll get a little kind of a walkthrough. Okay, now that that is done, we can take a look in this directory, and we should have kind of the beginnings of a Chrome extension project. And I'm going to open this in Visual Studio Code. And you can look through this code here, and really you can just start developing in the app folder. Where do we have our project here? You've got a background.js file, Chrome reload.js, you've got a folder for your tests, and yeah, so you can just actually start this with gulp, and gulp build will actually build it into a project. Where was I here? Yeah, gulp babel, transform your code from ES6 code into so it's like browserify. Gulp watch give you live reloading, and gulp build will build it into a little package that you can upload to the web store and share your extension. So that is pretty simple, and I'll show the process for Office 365 also. I'm going to make directory testbed 0365, and then ce testbed 0. So now we can run yo. I think it was just generator office. Is that right? Yeah, so you just run yo office. And it'll give you more options again. Okay, so that is now done generating, and we open that up in VS Code. I'll close the Chrome extension project. Should have VS Code opening up here. And here you've got a source folder, and actually, so I think the default is to use TypeScript, which is, it's JavaScript basically, but it's more dynamic. I think it's called statically typed variables. But please play around with this structure um, and see what kinds of stuff you can develop. I'm going to go ahead and stop the video there. If you want to see some full out-and-out projects with either Chrome extensions or Office 365 add-ins, yeah, let me know in the comments below, um, and I will talk to you soon. Teachers can code.